We do investigations of, for example, large language models and their effect on elections. We supply data access requests under Article 40 of the DSA, and we look at influence of algorithmic amplification on platforms. I think it is very important to be transparent about funding. We receive funding from individual donors. They give us small donations, and the larger donations come from philanthropic organizations and public funding, including the European Union with their Horizon 2020 project. We need to turn this around, and let's not follow these guys' playbooks.
Thank you very much, Chair. I think this committee could now adopt a tagline permanently displayed, proudly sponsored by George Soros. I'm also quite disappointed to see in the speakers list that we have representatives from the Commission and from various human rights institutions, but nobody actually representing AI, social media, or digital platforms themselves, which I think is a big omission in this meeting. My question would focus, however, on the issue of disinformation and fake news. I would direct it to DG Just. And if you ask, like the first speaker, Mr. Gross, how to protect our democracy, my answer would firstly be by not suppressing free speech or plurality of views. The European Union was built on the ideals of democracy, open debate, and freedom of expression. Yet today, those very ideals are under threat, not from external forces, but from within. We must resist the transformation of the EU into a propaganda machine and protect our right to free speech. Because without free speech, there is no democracy and only control. And this special committee seems to go down that same road of control. In fact, the chair at the EUDS constitutive meeting said that some groups seem to be at the table because they fear to be on the menu. Under the guise of combating hate speech and disinformation, the EU is pressuring social media platforms to use algorithms to censor speech. These algorithms, controlled by so-called fact-checkers, are being used to stifle debate. Because who decides what is disinformation? The European Commission? The long and the short of it is, it's just an excuse to censor dissent. The EU is trying to become a ministry of truth. And therefore my question, why do we not allow for community loads where people can challenge falsehoods with facts? Why do we not trust our citizens enough to think for themselves? Thank you.
Thank you. It's really fascinating to see how some people feel targeted even if they were not named before, and how some people don't like fighting disinformation. But, well, that's a freedom of opinion. That's freedom of opinion. And even disinformation has its place even in this meeting. Well, there are many examples. Well, freedom of opinion is not freedom of intoxication, but it's always the same ones, afraid of protecting.
You're supposed to be chairing this. You're supposed to be you're not the chair of this, commenting on it.
Actually, I'm chairing and you don't have the floor. That's good to remind me about it. Thank you for reminding me. Thank you very much. Now I will give the floor. Maybe, well, you asked about something I had said, and my freedom of speech is to answer you, but maybe you don't like freedom for others.
Democracy, you're afraid of democracy, and that's why we're here.
You know, democracy.
My family was in concentration camp, and you are saying me that I'm not afraid about democracy. Let's go out and shout outside, not on me. This is absolutely nonsense from your side. Yeah, and you think the AfD guys are coming to the Czech Republic for the...
Please, colleague. Please, colleague. You're absolutely right. If you want to argue, there's a possibility to do it outside and respectfully. And respectfully and waiting for your turn to take the floor is the basis of our democratic debate in every committee, and this one more than others. Thank you, colleagues.